everybody, my name is Chris and this will be my spoiler review for episode 4 Secret Invasion. Now, Secret Invasion episode 4 has now landed on Disney Plus and we continue to enjoy a pretty pleasant Disney Plus series. I am the only one. Anyone else enjoying this as much as me? I don't think it's mind-blowing, a masterpiece or the best one out there, but I will say it's definitely a lot better than a lot of the other shows that we have been getting. And yet I barely heard anyone talk about it. And I kind of love this episode because of that scene with Talos and Gaia. Powerful stuff there was amazing. The action here was great, and I like the Fury scenes a lot. So in episode 4 we open in 2012 after the events of the first Avengers movie, where you can see Nick Fury in his classic black leather trench coat in Paris, meeting up will be his future wife, and showing some of the intergalactic risk that's got him this far. Now this has been an interesting turns of event because last we saw she's getting ready to put a bullet in good old Nick Fury, and she meets with Rhodey at the church as we all suspected, and she was talking to Rhodey on the phone last episode. Glad it's been confirmed, and Nick is listening to this entire conversation. He also almost got a bullet in the head, and I like that they both fire intentionally and miss, and I love Fury's follow-up line. I don't know if we shall get divorced or renew our vows. Well, I go with renew our vows. That was a fun scene. And I feel now we're starting to really get to know Fury, and shows how few people Fury has really let in all these years, just Priscilla and Talos, because he's so guarded and he sees this as a weakness, as a Priscilla say. Now Talos better not be there, or I'm going to be upset he's there. And the president was unconscious, so he didn't get to see that it was a Crow who saved him. So I was like, this is your moment, Talos. You were just talking about this with your daughter. And I think it would be a big loss for the remaining 2 episodes of this show and the Skrulls in the MCU overall if they lost Talos. I love that guy. Just the scene with his daughters was so touching. You can feel their connection, his love for her, and also how grateful he was that she came back to him. I mean, and he didn't have to really say anything. It was all in his eye. That Ben Mendelsohn's such a talented actor. And Talos was telling his daughter, it's like we have to make peace with the humans. We have to be vulnerable and show ourselves, reveal our hearts, and hopefully they can grant us asylum. And they can give us a place to stay. And his daughter calls him delusional, crazy, like you're like that is not gonna work, that is not gonna happen. And this scene where of gravely injured Talos desperately trying to keep his human form but unable to, and that was just, I think, done so well, not only visually but Ben Mendelsohn's acting. I felt for him. It was incredible. Fury sure feel bad about it. I never seen Fury pause like that, and not with Maria Hill, not with his wife, not with any of the adventures we have seen him on in the MCU. I mean, he really finally went for the headshot with Gravin, and that was great. I mean, it just show you how much he care about Talos. Talos has been a professional and personal friend, a partner for half of Fury's life. At least, I think Fury is a mix of emotion right now. Both disbelief that Talos actually fell, and I think Gilde Talos might have died fighting for his own people to help Fury and humanity, and that's amazing. And what a tragic hero. Now maybe Gaia can find him. Still having a pose and drag him into that super skull machine, and so he can heal himself. So yes, Gaia is a super skull, and as we suspected last week, after her run in with Gravity, we like know which is there. So I hope it's the same with Talos. Sure enough, she was smart enough to read the mind of that scientist in cold storage to allow Gaia know how to maneuver and work the lab, and she transformed herself. Now moving on to Rhodey here, and how Rhodey is going to explain his behavior though. I mean, his security detail is a Skrull as well, and I mean, we'll see, but clearly not Super Skrull. Is that dude's arm is still injured after trying to escort Furious out, and it's a female Skrull posing as Rhodey. And hands off to Don Cheadle now that the audience know he's a Skrull, and I feel like he has to play up that whole thing of acting like Rhodey without being Rhodey, because it's someone impersonating him. And I feel we got a really good sense of that with him talking to the president. The president was like, do you have alcohol in your breath, man? Like, come on, take a coffee or something. This is so unprofessional of you. And he does have an incriminating footage of Fury to keep him in line. That's partially why Gravity killed Maria Hill in episode 1. Very clever. And I love Fury's second conversation with Rhodey, because this was the Fury we know and love. And the writing here was fantastic. That whiskey conversation, excellent. And Samuel Jackson, he can really work with stuff like that, as we've seen him before. And Fury used that whiskey to put the liquid tracker and then follow Rhodey, and that's how Fury and Talos are able to be there when the president is attacked. And it was great to see Fury in action again, the way he's supposed to be, as always on top of things, always with a trick up his sleeves thanks to his super friends. And he's such a cool character, the way he was able to get to the president. I love that when he had like those 2 columns of soldiers to guide him to that was some great stuff there. Now let's talk about the Super Skrulls here. Now that was poorly realized, and I'm very disappointed. And it turns out he turns Gravity, he turns himself into a tree instead of just kind of having the power of it. And I'm not quite sure how that would work. I mean, like, Groot doesn't turn himself into a tree, he's a tree. So that didn't make any sense to me, and that didn't quite work. But we have only seen 2 of the 4 powers. I guess Cope Obsidians is just like more strength. But what about the Frost Beast stuff? And why don't they spell he instead of just using extremists to heal? Now, I'm very curious to see how Nick Fury is going to take down these Super Skrulls. And well, Pepper Potts, they do away Adrian's killings in the end of Iron Man 3, so it's possible. And I hope Talos isn't there, and I hope they reveal next episode how long Rhodey has been a Skrull, because now that we have that confirmed, do not tell me he's been a Skrull all this time in the MCU. I'm thinking he have been captured and put in one of those sleep chambers that those girls have sometime after like the events of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I think it has been recently, so we'll see. And we just have 2 episodes left. I'm very excited. This was a really great episode, so I cannot wait for the final 2 episodes of this show. So let's hope we get more of Talos back, because he's such a great character and they haven't done really anything with him in the MCU. So and this is starting to do some progress with the character that I love. And Gaia and Emilia Clarke, that emotional scene with Ben Mendelsohn in the park, that was some really interesting things and bring some emotion to her character that I really appreciate. So that's my spoiler review for Secret Invasion episode 4. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, consider subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.